But of course, what gets exciting is then we get to see athletes like Ruslan Nurudinov move down.
Yeah.
A 241 clean and jerker, dropping down to the 102s.
What an interesting battle. Lesman Paredes versus Ruslan Nurudinov.
I mean, I live for it every day of my life. I think about that.
Exciting mashup there.
And I've spoken about that very battle with some of those athletes. Okay, opening attempt now for Artyom Antropov. This is a big lift for him in the snatch. He's not built to snatch. He's got short arms.
5 kilos off his best in international competition.
Yeah, already 5 kilos up on what he hit at the Asian Championships, but he had to cut down to 96 there. This is his preferred body weight. And it's not the opener he wanted. No. I saw him snatch 165 kilos in the training hall the other day. In fact, you know, I saw him make a 385 kilo total.
Yeah,
in the training hall.
A bit frustrating for him to only take that 63. It looks powerful, it's fast, but he's got a very narrow, very wide grip for himself. His short arms, and that bar just drifts forward after he catches it.
Almost Armenian-esque in the way that he snatches the weight. But he can make this.
So diametrically opposed to the strength he has in the clean and jerk. Snatch looks like something he's just so not comfortable with, but an absolute master in the clean and jerk. So he's going to stay there at 63. Probably a smart move. He knows if he gets a decent snatch in, he's going to be in a good position. There's no reason for him to rush through and try to drive this number up too aggressively and potentially end up with no snatch number.
It's one of the things I love about the sport is the different body types that compete. I mean, yesterday we spoke about Lesman Paredes snatching 87% of his clean and jerk. And here we have an athlete who, at his last competition, snatched 73% of his clean and jerk.
Yeah, such an interesting battle, too. The total different strategies, everything about it is so unique.
Okay, second attempt now for Artyom Antropov. He looked great in the training hall, it has to be said. Made every single snatch. Everything looked easy. But he is an athlete that makes lifts look easy.
Yep.
He's not much of a grinder. It's either there or it isn't.
He takes a relatively wide grip there. Oh, so much better.
Yeah, he pulled that with a lot more power off the ground, a lot more speed moving into the hip, and the bar came back.
2 reds.
Oh,
what an odd call. I'm
the
surprised.
Jury, though, straight away are calling to check on the referee's decision.
We've seen this before where the refs give a bad lift.
I mean, I would say that the elbow shakes. I wouldn't say that it wobbles, and I don't know if that's a distinction that the jury care about, but in my mind there's a distinction there.
We'll see if they give it a good lift or not.
We're watching this. We can see this on the big screen in the building. It looks like they're looking at his left elbow.
Oh, I was going to say his right.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one then.
The jury has determined good lift.
Wow, they overturned it. He is so happy. Look at him. That's the look of pure shock. It's so rare we see the jury overturn a lift like that. Well, that's fantastic for him. He's now on the board with his snatch. He's got one more. If he can get close to that 68 that he's done in the past, he'll be in great shape here.
Yep, so Wes Kitt's coming out now. He competed at the Olympic Games last year. He normally competes at 109 kilos. 177 kilos is his best snatch. He actually saved that for the Olympic Games. He's clean and jerk 223, but now he's down at 102.
Should be a very strong opener.
Wow, they've given him a no lift early on in that.
He's going to get a press out, but it possibly was just the shoulders. We'll see if we get a challenge card on that.
He's an extremely muscle-bound athlete.
Yeah, very, very powerful athlete.
Yeah, very strong. A lot of muscle mass in his upper body. He's never been an athlete who's been blessed with a lockout, but he's been blessed with things that other athletes wish they had. Power, strength, speed, yeah.
Let's see what they do. No challenge, so they're going to accept that call. And
I wonder if they just asked him, did you press that out? And if he said yes, then there's no point.
Yeah, why waste a challenge on that when you might need it for the jerk?
It's very difficult for the coaches from that tunnel to be able to see the armband, the elbows of these athletes.
Yeah.
So they really have no idea whether there was or wasn't a press out. They have a very similar angle to us. When we're looking from the front on, but they're looking from behind on, but it's at a similar angle.
You know, interesting, Kitts has almost the same numbers as Antropov. He's done, I mean,
in the heavier category.
Yeah, in the heavier category, sure, but he, you know, if he snatches just in the 60s, I mean, wouldn't be unheard of for Kitts to try something in that high teens in the clean and jerk.
Kitts is requesting more weight.
You know, Wes has had a tough time this last year. We spoke to him and he told us that it's been a lot of big changes because, of course, after the Olympics, he took 3 months off to recover and just allow his body to finally heal after such a long Olympic quad. Then he said his wife, he and his wife had a second son. Then he had to cut down to 102 kilos, you know, for the national championships to even qualify for this competition. And then, of course, he's not been able to train at his usual gym in California with his coach Dave Spitz. He's been lifting remotely back in is it Tennessee that he's moved to?
So, yeah.
So a difficult journey to this World Championships. Here's Rasulbekov's first attempt at 165.
Rasulbekov setting up very crooked there. We see his right.
No lift, Rasulbekov.
His right foot a little bit crooked, a little bit far out. I'm surprised he pulled from that position. It looked a little bit odd.
Okay, here's the opening attempt for the Georgian, Irakli Chikidze.
Well, a little bit forward, but a strong 165 for him.
Yeah, he tends to have really great technique. There's a little smirk on his face there, as he knew that he made a little bit more of a meal out of that than perhaps he needed to.
Yeah.
He's dropped down from the old 105 category back in the day. Took the 4th place at the European Championships. A good snatcher, not quite as strong in the clean and jerk, but a solid technician. Here comes Wes Kitts. He told us that he snatched 176 kilos this year, which is enormous.
Yeah, the only kilo off his best is a 109. It's a very powerful lifter.
That is extraordinary. The speed that he pulls off the floor and explodes off the hip. Very vertical catch as well.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to have lost any power at this lighter body weight.
165.
I think he's a lot of people watching today were wondering what sort of shape he was going to be in. He's not been posting a lot on social media like he used to do. So nobody really had any idea. He looks to be in good shape.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, we asked him, we said, have you had any injuries recently? He said no, but then he said, he clarified that and he said, well, I got a boo-boo today in the training hall moving a squat rack. So even...
Hopefully it's not debilitating.
No, hopefully not. Doesn't seem to be. Second attempt for Rasulbekov. He missed this on his opener. He always starts with high hips.
Yeah, that right leg, that right foot has turned out quite a bit here. There we go.
Much better. He'll be able to step that out. You know, not the best start for him. He's an athlete who likes to get up into the 70s in the snatch. He made 173 kilos at the Asian Championships.
Moldova, first attempt.
He competed down at 96 at the Olympic Games.
On the bar. Third attempt. Artyom Antropov.
So Artyom Antropov will come back out now, 166 kilos. This is a lift that I fear he might need to make if he wants to end up with the gold medal, because he's just not a strong snatcher, but he's a great clean and jerker.
Let's see here. 166 is just 2 kilos off his best international lift, best international snatch. His second attempt at 63 was really strong. Just struggles a bit overhead. Yeah, it's just not there.
Able to make it. Interestingly enough, we have a man who weighs 33 kilos less, but out snatches that weight. Watching on from the VIP section, Xu Ziyong, the 2-time Olympic champion from China, has turned up to watch this session. Lots of, you might call it weightlifting royalty in the crowd today. Lots of Armenian athletes, Olympic medalists sat in front of us watching on. Athletes from Team USA also here to support West Kits. 7 athletes still yet to open up. One of them now about to open from Iran, Reza Dedar. Very fast lifter. He's not got the biggest pull on him, but he's extremely quick under.
Yeah, he's a very experienced lifter as well.
He snatched 170 kilos in this weight category at the Asian Champs in October. In fact, he's been over 170 kilos at 4 out of his last 5 competitions. Looking to make that 5 out of 6 today.
Very good.
Yeah.
Strong pull. Hasn't tied his shoes yet either.
No, he tends to not.
Yeah, he leaves them undone there.
Yeah.
Lift by decision.
I think that's part of the bad boy look.
Yep.
He likes clearly going for it.
The barbell now moves to 169. Dedo remains the athlete.
So 169 now.
Second attempt. Madanov to follow.
Let's see who takes this.
Realistically, it's going to go to 170.
Yeah, I think so.
At which point, we might get a few different athletes opening up. We have 4 athletes. In fact, 4 athletes who want it for their opener. But 7 athletes are asking for 170 kilos. And another asking for 171.
170 kilograms on the barbell.
So the first Bulgarian, Marinov, is being called out. He's going to take this.
Again, another extremely fast lifter. 2 athletes from Bulgaria in this session, but actually 2 very different styles of lifting. David Fisherov pulls a bit higher, the taller of the athletes, whereas this man here, Vasil Marinov, a little bit quicker. Not as much height generated on the bar though.
Beautiful snatch.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, just so smooth, so comfortable.
Yeah, he doesn't pull that any higher than he needs to make it.
Yeah, the Bulgarians generally have fantastic speed, great positions, and aggressiveness on those snatches. Impressive to watch.
Tudor Ratu now from Moldova will come out. His teammate we saw in the men's 81s, that was Marin Robu, who didn't have the best day of his career. He wasn't able to get the gold medal snatch like he was able to last year. Let's see if Tudor is able to get into the medals in the snatch. A lot of athletes now looking to take attempts at 170.
Yeah, very strong. Gets that bar far behind his head. He's a little bit tipped over. We see that as kind of a typical of the body types we've seen in the Moldovan team. A little bit longer limbed, a little taller. So David Fisherov being called out here for 170. Let's see if he does in fact take this. He snatched in the high 70s at Europeans. He was successful there.
Yeah, 177 he made there. Now, I think that this man is one of several underdogs. I think if we assume that Meso Hassona, who was written in as far as Elbak on the scoreboard, if he's the favourite, David Fisherov is one of perhaps 3 underdogs in this session. He used to compete for Austria under the name David Fischer. His sister will be competing for Austria on Thursday.
Waits that clock down below 10 seconds. Wow, that was stronger than I remember from Europeans.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a hitch when he pulls, but he's always had it. And if anything, I would say it looks a little bit less pronounced here than it has done at previous competitions.
Looks like he has a tomato sponsor or something on his singlet.
I wonder if it's the flavor of a packet of crisps.
Perhaps.
Something like that. Tomato Walkers or something.
Yeah. So here's
the man who thrives on the cheer of the audience more than any weightlifter I know. He tends to add 10 kilos to his numbers the more cameras he has on him in the training hall. He's a lot of fun to watch. It's the Olympic champion, Meso Hassona.
This is a heavy opener too, 170.
He was Qatar's first ever Olympic champion.
Beautiful lift.
Good opener. That's exactly what he's hoping for. He had a tough start to the training hall a couple of weeks ago when he turned up here because his father and his brother, who are alongside him now, weren't able to acquire visas to get into the country. So he came on his own and he trained on his own. And I spoke to him a lot because he just didn't seem particularly happy. I mean, turning up to a competition like this without the support team of your family who are your coaches, not easy, but they were granted their visa applications sort of last minute. They turned up a few days ago, and it looks like that's transformed him.
Yeah. Such a kidsy here, 170.
We're getting into his top sort of range now. That is
great
so
snatch.
much nicer than his opener.
Yep, the Georgians show up with great technicians. Solid lifters. That was a perfect lift for him.
Yeah, that's brilliant. You know, the Georgians are tremendous technicians. You know, they have one essentially extremely strong weightlifter, the strongest ever. Their other athletes, I don't think you would call any of them extremely strong people. They rarely excel in either lift, but they always just look great. They move very well. They're often very consistent. And they're able to move up to higher positions because of that. Here's Westkits, 5 kilo jump now to 170 kilos. There we go.
Strong.
He's going to be extremely happy with that. Max, he doesn't look any smaller at 102 than he did at 109.
Good lift kits.
Very, very solid. 170 for him is great. It's only 7 kilos off his best at the 109 class.
I was fortunate enough to spend some time with Wes back in 2019 for a week or so, a couple of weeks. And he was suffering a wrist injury, which then plagued him right up until the Olympic Games. And then after the Olympics, he took 3 months off to let it finally heal because it was causing him so much issue. He had to change his grip position, come in narrower, wrap up the wrists. But he seems in much better health now. Here's Marco Ruiz, 171 kilos for his opener.
Oh, just a little forward, but he gets under it and saves that.
Yep, he's come down for that 109 kilo category. He snatched 180 kilos there at the European Championships in 2021. He told us that he's made this weight cut much easier than he expected it to, which is good.
So now the game begins. The moves from 70 onward. Who's going to take the first attempt over 170?
Representing Kyrgyzstan, 171 for his third attempt.
171 esperan al deportista de Kirguistán.
We've had 8 made lifts in a row here.
Yeah,
pretty good going. Much like with the previous women's 76 kilo category, a lot of made lifts in the snatches, but an enormous 6 kilo jump. Razulbekov knows that he's going to have to make this if he wants to look to get a podium spot. He's got a good clean and jerk, but he's not going to be able to use it if he can't snatch high enough.
Misses opener. Repeated, made it.
Wow, can he hold it?
Great fight.
Yes, he can.
What a fight.
Brilliant stuff there.
What a lift, good
So he
lift.
set himself
Razobekov.
into a great position now. Can really maximize that big clean and jerk.
173 now, please, loaders. The
Oh,
second
yeah.
attempt.
There's his
Reza
teammate behind him,
Tegar.
the 89-kilo Moldodosov. Looks like Reza Dadar's making his way out now. Another 5-kilo jump to 173 kilos. It's interesting, Bekdulot Razobekov starts with his hips incredibly high.
Yeah.
Despite having such powerful legs, he almost just opens up at the hips when he makes these snatches.
There's Bedad Salimi coaching, giving a little smirk.
Yeah,
He feels confident in this lift, I think.
pretty good when you're coaching staff. Both of them snatch over 200 kilos. Ali Hosseini, Bedad Salimi there. That's
Again.
really big for Dadar now to make that 173.
He is happy with that. That's a big lift for him.
A lot of made lifts in this session, which make things even more exciting. That, I believe, is his second best snatch. He's made 175 twice. He did it at the World Champs back in 2019, and he did it at the Asian Champs in 2021. Now he's at 173. One more attempt. Presumably, he'll go for a personal best.
Yeah, he's setting himself up for a 76 snatch here.
We still haven't seen Samuel Gasparian
Yeah.
from Armenia even open yet. He's asking for 175. Aryanov looks confident.
We're seeing a little bit more, I won't say conservative jumps, but 4 kilos versus the 5. At this body weight, 5 is not an untypical number to take. Good speed, great snatch.
Yeah, he just turns on the acceleration. He's slow off the floor, but the speed that he generates at the hip peaks the bar so nicely.
So very Bulgarian stylized of him.
174 kilograms on the barbell.
Smooth pull, but incredible acceleration and turnover.
174 kilogramos y el llamado ahora es para el deportista de Bulgaria, David Fischerov.
So Fischerov here at 174. We'll see if he takes this. Yep, he's coming out.
So David Fischerov, 174. He made 177 kilos at the European Championships. He is the European Championship. This man is dangerous in the total.
Three kilos off his best snatch from the Europeans. Few seconds left.
Yeah, he likes to run down that clock, but it didn't give him the extra motivation needed to make that.
He's got an interesting pull. There's a very large, pronounced hitch in the middle of the pull.
Yeah.
The bar continues to accelerate, but he pauses momentarily and then rebends the knees.
Yeah, it's right at that transition as he starts to, or stops pushing the knees back and starts to move them forward. That's where the hitch comes in.
Yep. So here's Meso with 174. I believe his best is 78 in the snatch.
So this is probably a necessary lift for Meso. We know he's got a big clean and jerk, but he's going to want to snatch this. His best is 178. He did that in the lighter category back in 2019.
Great turnover on the first attempt.
And he's only just got under that one.
Just barely got that where it belonged.
That was about as far forward as you can let a bar be before it becomes a miss.
174 is still on the barbell.
But he snuck under it. That's disappointing for everybody else in the field to see Meso having a good snatch day. Okay, Irakli Tukidze will be up next. He's made his 2 snatches so far. His second snatch was the best of the 2 at 170 kilos. He's taking a 4 kilo jump now to 174. There we go.
What a great lift.
And Coach Asanidze behind, jumping up and down in celebration. It's so interesting watching the Georgians train. Unlike with most teams, they only have one coach. You know, when you watch Team USA, every athlete has their own coach there, but with Team Georgia, it's just mainly Georgie. And no athlete takes a single lift above maybe 60% in the training hall without Asanidze watching.
Yeah.
They just wait one by one, and he walks from platform to platform, tells them what he wants to see, and they do it. And it's working very well for Team Georgia.
Yeah, one of the most attentive coaches we've seen, really just focused in on every athlete with laser-like focus on them.
So Samuel Gasparian now coming out for his opening attempt at 175 kilos. This is an enormous opening attempt. He's the last athlete out. And this, a massive lift for him to get into the lead on that.
Yeah, biggest opener here, 175. Quite
and
solid.
He's going to make it. He's got that characteristic Armenian wide grip. But there's no wobble. That's often the curse of this wide grip, is that you end up wobbling a little bit, but you know, it does mean you don't have to pull the bar quite so high. A phenomenal start there for Samuel Gasparian.
So Tudor Bratu here, second man to take 75. His opener was very powerful.
And every athlete here with either 175 or 176 kilos written in. The battle for the medals in the snatch definitely well and truly underway here.
He just
a touch too much.
So quick to get to the bar.
So we've had 3 athletes snatch 174 kilos. 1 athlete snatch 175.
Third attempt, 175 kilograms.
Samuel Gasparian is asking for 180 kilos.
Yeah, he could be dangerous here if he puts his snatch up that high. He's got a 215 opener in the clean and jerk.
Yeah, if Meso doesn't make another snatch and he makes that and gets a 6 kilo lead, Meso will need 7 kilos more than him in the clean and jerk to out-total him.
And to change, back to 175, please, on David Fischerov, Bulgaria, third attempt.
So Fisherov's bumped a kilo, presumably for the rest. That second attempt was just not behind him. Didn't get where it belonged. So.
Okay, final attempt now. He missed on 74. This is not a personal best, but it is pretty big for him.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, just too far forward. We do have word, though, that that sponsor on his singlet is a Bulgarian ketchup company. I don't know if it's ketchup. I wonder if it's actually Lutnica. It's a red sauce similar to ketchup.
Interesting.
My time with the Bulgarians, they enjoyed putting ketchup on pretty much every food.
Ketchup on ketchup. Okay, so final attempt now for Tudor Bratu at 175 kilos. He missed this on his second attempt despite a pretty confident open at 170.
Tercer y último levantamiento de arranque.
He just walks straight to the bar here. No real pacing, gets set, and then he just goes. Yeah, presumably it looked like a pretty good pull, but just didn't have the height he needed.
No lift, Ratu.
So Bratu's best snatch was 165 kilos, so he'll still walk away with a 5 kilo personal record.
Marcos Ruiz
There's Michael Ruiz now, 171 kilos, 5 kilos up. His best snatch, 180 kilos. He did that as a heavier athlete, so this will be big for him.
Very good.
That's a great lift. Yeah, he told us that he tends to train on his own, which is just amazing that he's then able to turn up to competitions like this and lift as well as he does. He says he likes to train with the team when he can, but usually it's in his hometown, so training's a lot harder, he says, when there aren't people around pushing you.
Yeah, that 176 positions him possibly for a 180 on his third, which would be exceptional to do it in a lighter weight class.
So currently we have 3 athletes who want 176. One of them just bumped up, that was Reza Dadar, so we have 2 now, Vasil Marinov and Meso Hassona. Both of them, in fact I believe I can see on Meso Hassona's, no, I'm not sure what it said there.
So Marinov coming out for 76, just a small 2 kilo jump. Presumably that last one was maybe a little bit forward or heavy.
Okay, his first 2 lips look very impressive. Slow pull, but fast under. Just couldn't be fast enough on that one. Bar not high enough for Marinov.
So he'll have 174, still in a good position in the snatch for him.
176 stays on the barbell, representing Fares Elbach, third attempt.
Okay, so Meso Hassona now, written on your screens as Fares Elbach for Qatar, will come out. This is his 3rd attempt at 176.
A change, 177 please. Representing Iran, Reza Tedar, 3rd attempt.
Heaviest snatch so far, 176 kilos. That was Marco Ruiz. I've seen a few lifters making 174. 3 athletes so far have made that. Reza Dadar now looking to move into the lead. Gasparian still wants 180 kilos. And Dadar just standing there taking his time.
This is 2 kilos over his best internationally, 175. Wow.
Oh, wow, the speed.
He is absolutely ecstatic about that lift.
Phenomenal stuff there. You know, he almost looks like he just pulls and throws, loses sort of connection with the bar and just dives under, and it just lands right where he wants it.
Yeah, he absolutely goes for it.
Third attempt.
177 y en competencia el catarí Fares Elbach.
Okay, this is the big lift now for Meso. A kilo under his best.
This lift puts him in such a great position if he's successful here.
This is going to be huge for Meso. He's only made 170 in the training hall leading up to this.
Just a touch early, doesn't get it behind him.
Tends to be that when Meso misses, he misses because he throws the bar over his head, loses it behind. This time, didn't quite have the height to do even that.
So he still has 174, which is a great position for him with his clean and jerk strength. But we are seeing a few athletes that are going to be really close to that 180 here.
Now, Ruiz taking just a 2 kilo jump to move up ahead of Reza Dadar from the, well, he's currently in silver in the snatch. This will move him into the lead. Of course, Gasparion's got 2 final attempts remaining there.
Huge lift for him.
This is big. Oh, he
so
almost had it.
Right there. It was overhead, locked out, but just a hair forward.
But he will walk away with a medal, 176 kilos. Currently, he's in the silver. Of course, Gasparian might move up into the gold and bump Ruiz.
Now on the barbell. Time begins.
Restan 2 intentos en la competencia del arranque.
Ahead can Gasparian get, and how strong is he in the clean and jerk? He's put in the joint second heaviest opener in the clean and jerk at 215 kilos, so he is, I guess, feeling strong heading into this competition.
This 175 solidifies gold. If successful, and positions him possibly for a very big third. Just a little bit forward.
Yeah.
It's tough for the athletes to get up when that bar is forward in the bottom of the squat position. This much weight is just so hard for them to move forward and backward like that.
1 attempt remaining in the
So he's got 1 attempt remaining, Max, to move himself from bronze into gold in the snatch.
Begins, Gasparian, Armenia, 3rd attempt, 179. After his
now, what's he going to have to do you think, to turn that around?
I suppose if he's a little more patient through the pull, lands mid-foot, he'll be better. He does have that sort of typical Armenian style, a little bit more wild at the top of the pull.
Yeah, he's got that wide grip on him.
He really just has to clean up the technique there. I think he knows exactly what the correction is. He's just got to feel better through the middle of the pole, stay mid-foot.
At 11:30, the women's 81C and 87B. 2 p.m. we'll see the 81B session for the women. And at 4:30 in the afternoon, the women's 81 kilogram.
Interesting development.
So close.
Yeah, it's really Reza Dadar here with the 177 snatch, 2 kilos up above his best internationally. He's put himself in a great position there.
Now, realistically, is Artyom Antropov too far away to be dangerous? He's probably too far away to be dangerous in the total for the gold. But he might, as he was able to do at the Asian Championships, be able to take a monster clean and jerk to move up into bronze.
Yeah.
But we have so many athletes here snatching in mid-170s. He's got his work really cut out for him. He might end up with he could well end up with a gold in the clean and jerk and not even get into the total medals.
Yeah.
Okay, so final attempt now of this men's snatch portion of the 102s. 179 kilos to clinch a gold. The first gold for Armenia.
Not even close.
Yeah, his second attempt looked pretty good. That third looked like a totally different lift. Not sure what happened there, but a total change in pull there. His coach disappointed in him clearly. Barely even made it out of the tunnel, trailing a few meters behind.
Well, he did drop down from the 109, so we wonder now how much that's going to affect his clean and jerk as well.
So the gold medal in the snatch, 177 kilos, will go to Reza Dadar. That's 177. The silver to Marco Ruiz from Spain with 176 kilos. And then who's taking the bronze? We've got a few athletes there with, oh, it's Kasparian with his 175. We then have an incredibly tight situation where we have 3 athletes in joint fourth, essentially. We have Marinov with 174, Chikidze with 174, and Meso Hassona, the Olympic champion, with 174. There really is everything to play for here as we move forward. Wes Kitt sits with 170 kilos, Bekdulot with 171. It's very, very tight here. There's David Fishrov on our screen, already clearly warming up for the clean and jerk portion of this competition.
And he's got an opener in at 206. We'll see if he stays with that. He did do 215, I believe, at the European Championships. So that's a pretty strong opener, actually. He can get to that 215 or more from 206.
Yeah.
And they're a man who has done 223 at the 109s. He's cut to 102 now, but potentially could be in the mix for a medal in the clean and jerk.
Now that pull there from Bekdulot, Max, his hips are so high. You have to wonder, for a man with legs as strong as his, why doesn't he start with lower hips and get himself in a position where he can utilize that leg strength a bit more?
We see his setup is just a bit off. His right leg is turned out, his foot is turned out, his knee is a little bit different position than his left leg. I almost wonder if he has some kind of mobility issue or potential problem in his ankle or hip that prevents him from getting set a little bit lower to use his legs.
And it has to be said that Ruiz looked really very good in the snatch. It was a shame he missed his last attempt at 178, but 176, very big, especially given that, was it 7 kilo drop in body weight there to the 102 category.
Yep. There was Reza Dadar, 177, personal best for him.
Yeah, he looked great, has to be said. He's put in 210 kilos for his opening clean and jerk. My feeling is that he's going to drop that down somewhere around 206. He tends to be pretty good in the clean and jerk. He's a power jerker, wide grip, internally rotates, sometimes forced down not far from a squat position. But who knows? Maybe he's feeling better than he ever has done. I mean, it looks like he's in great shape, so maybe he will be able to open up at 210. He might be able to push close towards 215 or so. But right now, Max, we said at the start that if you're going to want to get a medal, you're going to need to be totaling over 390. I think we might have a few athletes capable of doing that today. Yeah, depends how high into the teens these athletes can get in the clean and jerk.
Yeah, I think that 210 mark is going to really start to separate the boys from the men here, I think. We can get into that in the 215 range. Those with that 175 snatch or more are going to be in a great spot. Obviously, they're going to have everything working in their favor to defeat Meso. He has that huge clean and jerk. And he snatched okay here. 174 is not too bad for him.
No, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the best snatch day of his life, but he has struggled over the last couple of years in the snatch, more so than in the clean and jerk. Of course, he won the Asian Championships last year and the time before, and in between them, the the Olympic Games. He didn't win the World Championships last year, though. He was bested by Lesman Paredes, who won again for the second time in his career yesterday. Yeah. He is going to be joining these athletes at some point in this 102 kilo category.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting category, the 102s. We just talked about that at the beginning. Paredes versus Nuruddinov, an interesting matchup. I don't think anyone would have thought of a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But again, a question, right? Those that can lose the weight and maintain strength, and those that can fill the class out and gain something from that. You know, Paredes is a very lean athlete. You know, how much muscle, how much weight can he actually put on that's useful? It's going to be a big question mark for everybody.
I guess the question for Lesman is, I'm sure he can gain 6 kilos. You know, there's not a kilo of fat on him, but can he gain more muscle mass? He's already so muscular.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's an interesting question, though. You know, he could be extremely dangerous if he can bring his clean and jerk up with that gain in body weight. You know, him going up another 6 kilos or possibly really a few more than that as he cuts to make the class.
Yeah, there's definitely a world in which he snatches, you know, into the low, potentially even up towards 195 kilos, 10 kilos potentially over anyone else at, say, the Olympic Games. And then we end up with athletes like Meso or Ruslan Nurudinov taking enormous, you know, attempts at 230 kilos or even more, potentially 235, to try and reclaim a lead over him.
Yeah. Yeah, Nurudinov, a man who is very capable of that kind of clean and jerk strength. And also not a bad snatcher in his own right, you know, into the high 80s, low 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting weight class to watch here.
Yeah, he's not normally an athlete who, at least in recent years, Ruslan Nurudinov, not someone who's been able to snatch quite as much as some of his competitors, but he's not too far off.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, he's just so dangerous in the clean and jerk. He's always capable of going for a world record attempt if he needs to.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not afraid of it for sure.
No. Okay, so we have just over 3 minutes to go now until we're back underway at this men's 102 kilo category. The opening attempt currently looks like it's going to be 200 kilos by Tudor Bratu from Moldova. The Moldovans are known to be much better snatchers than they are clean and jerk, so not too surprising that he's going to be the first out.
Yeah, oftentimes we see them being a little bit taller than their athletes.
After him, it's likely to be Wes Kitts from the USA opening up, who has put in 202 kilos.
Vasil Marinov has 202 as well, but I suspect he may bump that opener a bit. We'll see. We'll see actually how many of these opening clean and jerks get moved around after the snatch session sort of ended the way it did. Those with the largest snatches may try to inch their way up, maybe bumping a kilo or two on these openers to get as close as they can to that, like we said, mid 210, 215-ish, you know, in the 210s, 2 teens.
So just 2 minutes to go now until we are back underway. There were some technical issues in the building throughout the snatch portion of that competition. We've been watching as people working here for the IWF have been running around trying to get things working, but right now it looks like things are moving smoothly again, which is good.
A minute 32 till the first attempt.
Yeah, and we'll be back underway. Okay, so a minute 20 again to go before we're back underway, and still we can see the IWF doing everything they can to get this show back up and running. These sorts of things can happen at even the most major of competitions like this, the World Championships. It might look smooth, but sometimes something happens with a power outage or something like that in the building, and suddenly you realize how precarious these competitions can be in terms of being broadcasted out around the world.
Well, at Weightlifting House, we run on a knife's edge, and the man steering that ship is Dan the tech man. He does a fantastic job.
Just trying to keep everything afloat. Okay, with 30 seconds to go now. We spoke with a few of these athletes recently about how their training has been going. Wes Kitts told us that he'd been able to clean and jerk. Well, we asked him what his best clean and jerk has been this year. He said 210 clean and jerk, 214 jerk is what he's been able to do. Pretty good lifting there.
Yeah, potentially that body weight reduction has affected his strength levels, his clean and jerk, a bit more than the snatch.
Yeah.
Welcome back. The first weight on the barbell, 200 kilos, representing Moldova, Tudor Bratu.
He does look strong in the snatch. He made that 170 kilos, which is very good. He's of course looking to continue on with his journey to Paris by competing next at the Pan American Championships. Those are going to be held in Argentina this March. And we're back underway. It's the men's 102 kilo A session. Tudor Bratu with 102 kilos. Sorry, 2 kilos.
200 kilos.
200 kilos.
A lifter who
a successful lift.
Seemingly takes no real mental preparation at the bar. He just walks up and sets his feet and hands and goes.
Bulgaria has retired from competition. The bar is set to 201 kilograms.
Someone has pulled out, I think we just heard.
Bratu remains the athlete.
Yeah, David Fischerov. So I spoke to him.
The European champ pulling out.
Spoke to him in the hallway at the hotel, and he told me he had some knee problems that one of his knees, he needed about 19 injections to, he didn't explain what that was, but potentially some kind of medication to make the knee dysfunction. So, yeah, unfortunate he's unable to continue.
So, again, for those of you tuning back in, apologies for any technical disruptions. There were some issues with the power here at the World Championships in Bogota. These things occasionally happen at live events like this, but we are back underway.
So Kit's taking 202. I think the thing to look for in Kit's total here and their strategy is trying to get him into the top 10 here.
Yeah.
Because that will really give him an understanding. Obviously, it's not going to hold up once we have the solidification of other athletes from other classes here, but I think it's probably a site that they've been looking at.
Incredibly strong in the clean and jerk. He told us that he'd hit 210 in training this year. So we're right at 96% of that now.
Oh, it's a little
powerful
forward.
Clean. And I think he's going to get called for a press out there.
They haven't given him the buzzers yet, though.
No, it wasn't an immediate no lift, but that's
wow.
Wait and see. They've given him 3 white lights.
That's amazing.
That's a great start for Wes there. It looked a little bit wobbly, but no, absolutely no issues there. No stirring from the jury looking back at that. So that's Wes Kitts on the board. He snatched 170 kilos. He's clean jerk 202. He's already in a pretty good position with that 372 kilo total.
Great start for him.
So in case you missed the end of the snatches, the gold medal in the end with 177 kilos went to Reza Dedar. The silver to Ruiz from Spain with 176. And then the bronze for the opening attempt of Gasparian from Armenia, 175. 3 other athletes ended with 174. They were Vasil Marinov, who's coming out now for his opening attempt, Irakli Chigidze, and Meso Hassona.
Good clean. Right to the jerk. And solid. He wastes no time standing there.
That's a good opener from Marinov.
Movimiento válido.
Back to Kitts for his second attempt at 203 kilograms. The automatic increase for his second attempt.
203 on the board here for Kitts. He's obviously going to bump from there. Potentially that brings out Tudor Bratu at 205. And if not, we'll see where this ends for everybody. Marinov, 204. He won't take this. He's going to be bumped up again.
Vasil Marinov, Bulgaria, the automatic increase for his next. And 205, here we go.
I think now we're going to see the first lift of Marcos Ruiz from Spain. He's in the tunnel. Strong snatcher, but he's going to have to make up ground on the clean and jerk. 205 as an opener with a 176 snatch.
Yeah.
Only going to put him in the 380s, and we think 390 is the cutoff here, or at least the territory they're going to want to get to.
So David Fischerov pulled out, as we mentioned, and so we've seen 3 successful clean and jerks so far at 200, 202, and 203. Ruiz now with 205. With such a good snatch, he's going to be doing everything he can to just try and claw into a medal position in the total, but he's out very early in the clean and jerk.
Good clean. Pretty solid jerk there. He's definitely got more in him, so he can potentially, like you said, claw his way into that high 380s, maybe 390 range.
Tudor Bratu, Moldova, second attempt. Kitts to follow.
205 kilogramos.
So we have 2 athletes with 205 kilos written in. Both of them snatched 170 kilos. So a bit of a battle between Wes Kitts and Tudor Bratu potentially here. Wes Kitts currently 2 kilos ahead after a stronger opener in the clean and jerk. Just hopped out the back of that.
Forward on the clean.
No lift, Bratu.
He is struggling today a bit. He only made 1 snatch, and he's so far only made his opening clean and jerk. He's got 1 more attempt here. Probably going to stay at 205. Kitts has 205 on the board, but we think he's going to move up from there.
So the winning total from the B session went from Artis Plesniaks, very experienced athlete, competed of course at the Olympic Games from Latvia. He totaled 373 kilos, so 2 athletes have already bested that, Vasil Marinov and Marco Ruiz. Most of the athletes presumably will get ahead of that total.
Looks like Razubekov went up as well. This is the game we see being played. Everyone's moving around. Obviously, the coaches are doing all of this. I think the athletes basically just sit there and wait for the coach to tell them to go out. Oftentimes, they're just maybe discussing strategy a few days before. Everyone kind of knows the numbers they can take. But a lot of this gamesmanship here and these movements are all decided and used by the coach.
Georgia.
Okay, opening attempt now. Rakitic kids are already up at 207 kilos. This is pretty big. As we mentioned before, he's a tremendous technician. Arguably the best mover of anybody else in this session. His 3 snatches were perfection. 1 of 2 athletes to go 3 for 3. He ended up with 174 kilos. This is a pretty big opener for him though.
Good clean. And a very solid jerk, just so comfortable.
Now bear in mind, he hasn't clean and jerked
I think he's arguing
really more than this for a while. He made 208 back in 2018. His best ever was 216 kilos, but he was a heavier 105 kilo athlete back then. He actually won the European Junior Championships that year back in 2018. He looks to be in pretty good shape here, Max.
Yep. Looks like there's some complaints from the Georgians here about the barbell. I did see Trakidze point to the loaders, say something, and then he walked back and spoke to Asanidze. Asanidze then talked to the TC.
Was it not tight on one side?
I have to imagine something of that nature.
It certainly wasn't misloaded. Here's the same weight now, but for Wes Kitts of the USA, 3 kilos below his best in training this year.
Very powerful clean. He did leave the first one forward, but probably more of just a mistake.
16 below his best as a 109.
Yeah, much better clean there. So much power. It's all in the lockout for him. Yeah,
now that time it's just not gonna fly. You know, it's an issue where he catches the bar with locked out elbows and then it loses. You know, he loses it. Wobbles, bends, unbends. It's the old rebend.
It almost looks like it rebounds off of the lockout. He's so powerful. I believe he's jerked in the 235 range.
Yeah, he has,
as a 109, maybe from behind the neck, but yeah, just extremely powerful individual. He just needs to solidify that rigidity in the lockout.
This is the 3rd attempt. Tudor Bratu.
Okay, Tudor Bratu will come out now. He missed 205 on the clean. It wasn't for a lack of strength. He just hopped out a little bit too far back and so dumped the bar in front, didn't even attempt to stand up with it. So if he can pull it straighter, maintain his balance better, he should be able to catch and hopefully stand up with this weight. That's better.
Yep.
And he's just up with it. but it went
right into a
forward in
pound
the jerk, just
yeah.
like it did in the clean. So it's a 2 for 6 day. Unfortunately for Moldova, they've not had their best showing here at this World Championships. 170, 200 for Bratu.
United States.
Wes Kitts will come back out, and I guess he's going to try this again rather than bump up. Could bump up to 208 and try and get a bit more rest.
Nope, I think he did.
Kitts once more weight.
208's going to bring out Marinov here.
Marinov at 208 kilograms.
Looks like Wes has just bumped to 208 also, taking as small a jump as he can to get himself that extra rest.
Let's see if Marinov takes his 208. His opener was comfortable, but he's not the strongest clean and jerker.
Competencia Marinov de Bulgaria, 208 kilogramos.
Yeah, this is a 3 kilo personal best, in fact. 205 he made at the World Championships last year. This will move him ahead of Ruiz and Chikadze. Momentarily into the lead.
Smooth clean. I think that's,
yeah,
would have been a press out either way, I think.
Yeah.
No lift.
Yeah, definitely that right elbow, not looking particularly strong there.
Looks to be clenching that left knee. He's actually hurt that.
One more time.
Yeah, he's stumbling a little bit here. Does not look comfortable.
Representing the United States.
So 5 athletes still to open up. Razulbekov, Gasparian, Antropov, Dedar, and of course Meso Hassona. You have to assume now that Artyom Antropov, so far behind in the snatch, is probably going to play 2 games here. The first is going to be get a total. The second game is going to be shoot for the bronze. And the third is going to be go for the gold clean and jerk.
Oh, so Kitts has gone to 209 here. Definitely a smart call. Possibly bring out Marinov before him unless Marinov bumps up. Kitts definitely.
He wants to change.
Also Bekov now at 209.
Yeah. Bit of back and forth between Bulgaria and the USA, but both of them going to get the rest they need because it brings out Razulbekov. Will he now take this? That's the question.
Yeah, he's a very strong clean and jerker.
It's coming out now.
He is taking it.
Yeah, he is very strong. At the Asian Championships, he hit 216 kilos. He also did that at the 5th Islamic Solidarity Games, and he did 217 at the World Championships last year. So at his last 3 competitions, he's clean and jerked tremendously. Very wonky.
Yeah, but strong. Had a very solid jerk.
Yeah, great lockout. Flicks those wrists back.
Yep.
Great lockout the elbow.
He's on the board now with a 380 total.
Yeah, that puts him in the bronze medal position currently.
Gonna have to improve on that though. We know that's not gonna hold up.
So this will move Wes up from 372 to 379 if he's capable of it. He told us that he's been focusing on accumulating more reserve strength now that he's at this lighter body weight and working through the new balance points that come with that change in weight, which is something we don't talk about too often, but as the athlete becomes lighter, essentially they have to resist the barbell even more by just pulling back a touch more. You know, the smaller you are, the smaller percentage you equate of the total bar person system.
Good clean, a bit tough in the middle. Looks to be a decent
I think
jerk
that's a great jerk. I think that's a good jerk. I think that's the best of all 3, in fact. That's a great lift. Wow, 379 kilos for Wes Kitts. That's a big deal at this lighter body weight.
Yeah, that's a very solid total for him. He's definitely going to move into the top 10 here in this competition.
Yeah. You know, if we look at what Wes was able to achieve at the Olympic Games. We know that he struggled a bit, but his clean and jerk there was 213 kilos. He did that as a 109. So to be just 4 kilos below that, 7 kilos down in body weight, he was definitely looking better now than he was then.
Yeah, he's really solidified a solid position in this weight class for himself.
So we're already up at the 210 kilo mark.
So interesting, Didar did not move down. He kept that 210 opener. So
I thought he might, but he must be feeling good.
Yeah, he must mean business here. 210 potentially could get him close to the high teens.
Reza's best clean and jerk in competition, 219 kilos, enormous lift.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2019. Took the silver medal, of course, at the Asian Champs this year, behind Meso.
This will be very telling what shape he's in, this first clean and jerk. A little bit off.
For him, that actually doesn't look too bad. Yeah. He's a gritty lifter, but that jerk, however, that's not going to cut it. You know, he never tends to get the first bounce on the clean.
Yeah, you know, the downside here is that we've got a few lifters of 210 entered. He may not get a tremendous amount of rest. We've got Ruiz with 210. He's taking a 5 kilo jump, so most likely he's coming out right now, but possibly only a few lifters between him and his first and second. And then obviously 3 men still left to open. Gasparian, Antropov, and Hassona.
Meso Hassona's asking for 220. That's going to come down almost certainly. Once he finds out what Gasparian opens with, he'll put 2 kilos on that and go for it.
It's the benefit of having a very strong clean and jerk.
It's a big clean, very tough.
He's just so tall. That recovery from the clean takes out so much energy.
No lift.
Yeah, still getting a bit of applause from his
has to move the bar a lot further than some of these other athletes do.
Remains the weight on the barbell. Second attempt, representing Iran, Reza Didar.
Yep, so Didar is out again here at 210. I feared that might happen. He's not getting much rest, and if he's going to bump up,
210 kilograms.
What's he going to bump up to, though?
Third attempt.
It's the danger
211, hopefully.
of increasing slightly. You just kind of keep getting edged further and further to the point that you're taking a lift. You really haven't solidified anything yet.
But that bump will hopefully bring out Marinov, and then Ruiz, give him another couple of minutes.
Yep.
That might be all he needs. So Marinov missed 208 on his second attempt. Of course, he was credited with 203 on his opener. Currently sits at 377 kilos. This would move him up into the lead.
He's a lifter who likes to just go. He gets set. Good clean, right into the jerk.
Oh, just misses it behind. It was there.
Yeah.
Stepped through the bar.
He's a bit dejected here.
Yep, that's
rightfully
disappointing.
so. He's only got 3 lifts there, 74, 203.
Again on the bar. Third attempt,
So
representing Spain.
we'll see Ruiz now take this 210
Ruiz
kilo third attempt.
210 kilogramos.
A slap on the face to wake him up, and he'll be out. Underway here.
Smart call for him to take this 210, I think. And he bumps the 211. Might have been a little bit longer than he wanted.
Yeah. Just is the extra minute worth the extra kilo?
Yeah.
That's the question these athletes and coaches have to ask themselves.
Yeah. The more aggressive he is on this clean, the faster he racks that bar and gets a energetic rebound out of the bottom, the more likely he's going to have energy for that jerk. If this is a tough clean, you're going to have to pray for that jerk.
That's pretty good.
He's done it.
And it was so close. A touch of chest collapsing at the bottom of the dip.
He did everything he possibly could. He really made the best of that clean.
He did. He did. But you know what? He still sits in the lead currently. No one's been able to get ahead of him. 381.
Second attempt.
So he's not in an awful position, but it's
very true.
Probably unlikely that anyone sorry, it's unlikely that's going to hold out as a medal position.
Yeah.
He will get a medal in the snatch, of course.
So Rizzy Dedar taking 211. He's got to be a bit frustrated that he's missed that first attempt because he snatched so well.
Took the gold in the snatch. This will move him way out into the lead if he makes it. So put him 7 kilos up on Ruiz. Oh, he gets the first bounce that time. Oh, he just can't hold on.
Yeah, so close.
You know, he's often able to power jerk it and not be forced all the way down into the hole. That time it looked like it was taking him a bit too deep. 1 attempt remains. What's he going to do this time? He's not going to be able to buy as much time because there's only one athlete with 212 kilos written in. So, and that athlete, in all honesty, if Dedar does choose to go to 212, I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia bumps up, steals the clock, because they're in direct competition with Reza.
Yeah,
they could really do with him bombing out.
It'd be a bad move for him to take the 212 because Chikidze would easily just bump to 13 and steal his clock. He'd basically be taking his own clock. He has still 30 seconds to change or declare, so if he's declaring 211, does he make the change? He did look a little bit tired, and I think 2 misses at 210 plus certainly don't make you feel more energetic.
No, this is a dangerous position.
He's made the change. They're going 212.
It's not a great place to be. I mean, imagine winning the snatch, the best snatch day of your life. And you just, you know, I said that he was opening pretty heavy for him in the clean and jerk, 210.
Wow. Well, Chikidze is taking this 212.
He's just going to go for it.
Yeah. Probably a smart move on his call, on his behalf. That 212 would definitely put him ahead of Dedar's clean and jerk. And he's got one more.
Yeah, this moves him from silver into first for now.
Quick clean, gets a little readjustment in the bottom.
Oh, he almost had it. He almost had that. Locked out nicely. The bar just gradually started drifting forward. His weight started moving onto the front foot. His front leg holding it all. Back leg gradually straightened out. Then he just can't hold that any longer.
212, he's here representing Georgia.
Yeah, we saw a lot of successful snatches, great snatching. It's really this 210 plus range that's just stopping this cohort in its tracks.
212 kilogramos. Y corre el tiempo, 2 minutos para Irakli Chikidze.
And to change, 213, please.
209 is the heaviest jerk made so far.
213 on the
So
barbell.
Irakli is choosing to go up, which we'd expect. There are a few other athletes who want that. That should now bring out Gasparian. If he makes this, he will move up into the lead. 388 kilos that will put him at, which is pretty big for Gasparian. He's not an athlete who's known for enormous clean and jerks. His best is 214 kilos. That was 3 years ago. So a very bold opening attempt here.
Yeah, this is a big lift.
Go big or go home for Gasparian. Very wide stance.
Quick clean there.
That is a very powerful jerk.
Very strong opener for him. He's in a great spot here now.
Yeah, that's a look of absolute relief, but the jury are going to take a look. He can't believe it.
I would be shocked if this got turned over after some of the...
I don't know. I think I saw a wobble in his right. It was like a slow press out, perhaps.
It looks like it doesn't quite land at arm's length.
It's so harsh. It's almost as he brings his front foot back, his arms slightly move and extend a bit more. I think that's harsh if they call it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very harsh. Looks like Team Armenia getting ready with a challenge card.
Yeah.
Which will only buy them more time. It won't realistically change the mind of the jury.
If they overturn this, I'd have to say that's pretty inconsistent from what we saw earlier. Notably, Kitz's first was no different than this.
After review by the jury has overturned the referee's decision.
Wow, the jury overturns. They give it a no lift. The Armenian coach cannot believe it. Are they going to play the challenge card to buy some extra time?
The entire audience is in uproar.
They're going to play the challenge card.
That's a
The Armenian team is
very, very harsh call, I would say.
They will need to review again.
So they're going to take another look at this. This is interesting because in many ways they don't need to buy more time because there are two other athletes who need to take 213 kilos, so they already have rest on the clock.
But you know, not getting this lift is just such a precarious position.
He's shaking his head. I think they're going to uphold the decision.
The jury has declined the challenge.
They declined the challenge. It's a no lift.
That's a
very bizarre call for the Armenian team to play that challenge.
They're getting booed very heavily here.
Plenty of boos there.
Yeah.
Tell you what though, there's one team in there who's not booing. That's the Georgian team, because they are hoping that Gasparian cannot make this, so that their athlete Chikidze is able to hopefully hold off in a medal position. So Gasparian on a 2-minute clock.
He's coming out again. He's got to be so angry.
I would have thought they would have bumped to 2:14. 3 other attempts ahead.
Smart call though for him. He's got the entire audience support here.
Yeah, he's able to maintain that momentum. It was such a good clean. And there it is again.
Again, very nice.
Oh, and he can't hold the lockout with the right elbow.
What a shame.
Oh my word. Reza Dadar and Samuel Gasparian, who took gold and bronze in the snatch, have now missed both of their opening attempts in the clean and jerk.
Representing Iran, Reza.
There's a world in which a strong Artyom Antropov might be looking at a medal opportunity here. Way down in the snatch, but still not out in the clean and jerk. Neither is Meso Hassona.
We're actually looking here at an interesting setup here, because the two strongest snatchers are in extreme danger in the clean and jerk here. They both have one left.
Well, the first and third strongest snatcher, yeah. And the second strongest snatcher is already out. Yeah. He only made 2:05. That was Ruiz. So still, nobody has surpassed 381 kilos. That lift was set 20 minutes ago.
It's amazing.
That's a good clean.
Best clean so far.
Can he hold it? Can he hold it?
What a fight.
He did it!
Oh my word.
Exhausted.
He looks absolutely done with this competition.
390 kilos for Dadar.
Oh my word. He came out for 210. He missed it. Then he went up to 211. He missed it. He went up another 2 kilos. That takes guts from him and the Iranian team. But as you said, Max, he moves ahead now of Ruiz into the lead.
What a fighter. What an incredible fight that was.
That's going to put him at 387 kilos. No, sorry, 390 kilos he's at.
Yeah.
This lift from Chikidze, his final lift, will put him at 387 into the silver medal position. He then has to pray that nobody else can move ahead.
Got under the clean.
That is going to be a great lift for Irakli Chikidze. It's been a while since he's been at these kinds of numbers. Not since he was a 105 lifter back in 2018. But he's going to walk away with a 5 for 6 performance. And he's up in the silver.
Yeah.
Representing Armenia, Samuel.
It's definitely possible, though, that he loses that spot now by 1 kilo if Gasparian can make this. And if he can, then only Meso Hassona, he only needs to open to bump Chikidze out of the medal position. So Gasparyan's going up because he needs more rest. That's going to bring out Razulbekov. Artyom Antropov still taking it easy in the back.
Razulbekov taking 214 here. It's a 5 kilo jump, but he's been waiting for an extremely long time. He was the first man to do 209. He hasn't taken a lift since everybody missed above 209.
Yeah, we had plenty of misses at 10, 11, 12, 13. Finally, we seem to have broken that miss streak. But this is a big lift for Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, notice how he's a little bit crooked. He's all the way on his right leg.
It's a strong clean. He's outlifted this in his last 3 competitions. And it looks like he's going to make it again.
He makes that very solidly.
That puts him up at 385, which moves him into the bronze medal position.
We're going to see possibly Razulbekov versus Artyom Antropov here for...
Trying to move into the bronze potentially.
We'll see if Gasparyan here can make this 14. Dealt a very unfortunate hand, missing that first seemingly great lift.
Now, if we assume that Meso makes his opener and moves into the lead, the bronze medal position becomes Chikidze at 387. Artyom would need 225 kilos to move ahead of him.
He's probably just going to be shooting for a medal on the clean and jerk, I think. That's such a big clean and jerk for him to make.
So if Gasparyan makes this, he moves into silver behind Adar.
Great clean.
So strong. He was hard done by on his opener, but I think they're going to give him that one.
That was a ferocious attempt.
3 white lights.
The audience
huge
loves
applause.
it.
And we can see opposite us the Armenians in the crowd.
Excellent competition here at the World Championships.
Armenian coach just keeping an eye out that the judges don't do anything, the jury don't change their mind.
I think he won over the whole crowd with that lift.
Yeah. We could see his lighter teammate Hakan Makricyan on his feet cheering as Gasparyan moved himself up into a strong position there. Okay, so as it stands, the leader is Reza Dadar with 390. The silver, Samuel Gasparyan with 389. Then bronze is Chikidze, but of course, Meso Hassona still hasn't opened. He's dropped to 217, so he'll be out after this opening attempt from Artyom Antropov.
Yeah.
Artyom is just so very strong.
He's moved up to 217 here.
Yeah. A master clean and jerker. This going for the lead in the clean and jerk. This will give him a 380 total. It won't put him in the medals in the total, but it will move him into the lead in the clean and jerk.
So comfortable.
Audible gasps from the audience during both the clean and the jerk. They can't believe that an athlete can come out and look so different to everybody else.
Well, he's
way down in the snatch though.
What he lacks in the snatch, he has in spades in the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
It is just the lift made for his body.
This is a huge opening attempt now for Meso Hassona, one of the heaviest he's ever opened up as a 102 kilo lifter.
Now, as much of a specialist as Antropov is, Meso is
technically
talented weightlifter.
Meso has outlifted him in the clean and jerk, and of course a snatch too in the past. It's a strong clean. And that is almost certainly going to give Meso Hassona the gold medal winning lift on his opening attempt. That is 391 kilos. That moves him ahead of Reza Dadar. And I think I can pretty confidently say that Meso Hassona is probably the world champion. The only thing I could see happening here is that Rasulbekov goes for 221 kilos on his third attempt. But that seems very unlikely because he's currently not sat in a medal position. So yeah,
massive jump.
He'll go for bronze most likely.
He's got 217. He's the lifter. The clock is running down though.
219 would give him the bronze in the total.
I'm wondering
does
if
he want a total medal or a clean and jerk medal?
They're not getting the change in. His clock is just running. Rasulbekov here.
Oh dear.
What's happened?
There's only 20 seconds. It looks like there's some arguing in the back room. He can't be involved in that. He's running out. 15 seconds. You don't have time to chalk up. You're going to have to go. 10 seconds. This is one of the most amazing things we've ever seen.
So much power here.
5 seconds.
Wow.
Oh, my word. That is incredible.
What an extraordinary lift.
Bekdulog Rasulbekov of Kyrgyzstan, 217. That moves him up, not into a medal position, but it does move him up into a clean and jerk medal. 3 athletes now with 217. He just gets the bronze in the clean and jerk.
He says to his coaches, what were you worried about? I had 3 seconds left.
Now you have to wonder, Max, if he had gone for 219 and not been rushed, he'd have a bronze in the total.
That's true. That had to have been some kind of error in the back. Someone wasn't paying attention. So here comes the man who is built for the clean and jerk. But how much can he do? Can he get himself a medal here?
He boasts a 291 kilo front squat. Pretty strong in the legs.
That's absolutely absurd.
He made 220 kilos in the training hall. He told me a week out that he was going to do it. He opened up his phone, opened up the calendar app, pointed to the 7th of December and said, I go big, 220, and he did it. And it looked great. This is only 2 kilos more than that.
Great clean.
That might have been nicer than the first. Very little about that looked anything other than easy.
There is no one in this room that can think that they have better technique and better control in the clean and jerk than this man.
There's a bit of a battle here, isn't there, between Artyom and Meso. Who's going to be the gold medalist in the clean and jerk? Meso has hit more in competition, 228.96. But Artyom potentially looking a little bit stronger, particularly in the clean. Perhaps not in the jerk. So it's going to be a nice battle here. Meso trying to get as far ahead as he can.
Wow.
Now, is there any world in which we could see a bronze medal? Artyom would need 227 to do it. He already took a 5 kilo jump. He's going to take another 5 kilo jump, I would have thought, because Meso's asked for it.
Because 227 is being loaded on the bar right now.
He's asked to. They're both going for 227. If Artyom Antropov makes this lift, he moves up into the bronze medal position. He's going to bump Gasparian out of bronze medal position.
This is an absolutely incredible lift, a 10 kilogram jump for Meso. Nope, he's moved up again.
So Meso's up. So that means Artyom's going to come out for this bronze medal position.
227.
This is massive. This is for the bronze medal, his first world medal. First world total medal, I should say.
He's getting ready.
He's not got long on the clock.
Well, if we've seen anything, we don't need that much time.
No.
Here we go. This is an enormous lift.
Yeah. This is absolutely massive. Artyom Antropov, he's been training for this. You know, they say snatch what you can, clean jerk what you must. Nothing that has never been as true as it is with Artyom. He took He has the lowest snatch in the session at 163. And he's currently got the biggest clean and jerk of the session at 222. This is the personal best all time. He hasn't even hit this in training. Oh, he just can't rack it. You know, had he racked it, he'd have certainly been up with it.
An incredible performance from him. Thank you.
But as it stands, he has the gold medal in the clean and jerk.
230.
A 13 kilo jump.
Miso is calling for 230 kilograms.
I imagine he's going to go up even further because the world standard is 231 kilos. I wouldn't be surprised if he just says, you know what, let's have a go at 232 kilos. It wouldn't be the first time he's done it. He tried it at the Asian Championships in 2021.
I mean, I
guess he's going to give it another go now.
It's an extraordinary increase. Nope, he's pulled out.
Has he withdrawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would have been an extraordinary jump.
Withdraws. There are a few boos around. People wanted to see him give it a go, but Meso Hassona has just found out that for the first time in his career, he is a world champion, and it is very difficult to muster up the motivation to do something as dangerous as a 231 kilo clean and jerk when you're in such a good mood and when you don't need to do it. So that's going to be the end of this men's 102 kilo session. We said that you need to get 390 or more to get a medal. We were wrong. You needed 389 or more, so we were only a kilo off there, Max.
Yeah, we're getting better at it.
We are. First through third, separated by 2 kilos. The gold medal for the first time. The Olympic champion is now world champion, Meso Hassona, 174-217. The silver medal to Iran, Reza Dadar, 177, gold medal snatch, 213 clean and jerk, silver medal in the total. And the bronze to Samuel Gasparian. I did not expect it. 389 kilos in the total. He snatched 175 for the bronze. He clean and jerk 214. The runner-up, by a kilo less than that, Bekdulot, though he will get a medal in the clean and jerk, a silver or a bronze in the clean and jerk, and then a kilo below that, Chikidze. So we've got 387 to 391, 4 kilos, 5 athletes. One of the tightest sessions we've seen here at the World Championships.
Yeah, some amazing lifts as well. 3 of the most clutch lifts we've seen. Great snatching from everybody. And then we had Gasparian basically fighting for his life. We had Dadar basically fighting for his life as well. Amazing.
Yeah, and solid lifting by Wes Kitts from the USA. 170 snatch, 209 clean and jerk.
Puts him in 8th.
Yeah, very good total for him. Tomorrow we have more A sessions. We have more of every session, but we have the women's 81s, which has been touted by many as the most competitive, most exciting session at this World Championships. Irina Decker, Tamara Salazar, Liang Xiaomei, Wang Zhuyu, Nacida Gomez. It's going to be an incredible session. We also have the women's 87, so we get to see world champion Mungjanstan from Mongolia look to defend her title, but she has athletes chasing her. Eileen Sikumatana, Tursunoid Jabarova, Solfrid Kwanda, who looks incredible. So it's going to be a phenomenal day of lifting, 2A sessions, the women's 81s and 87s. But that is it from me and Max, and we'll see you all tomorrow.